Right. I think we're live. Let me just double check here.
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
seems like we are live.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Welcome, everyone, to a new live trading session with my co host here, Samir, who's back in
Yes,
the house for some awesome trades today. We're trading and looking at all-time highs. We've broken the $7,000 level on the ES, and well, we've definitely pulled back some because of the news we got this weekend. We're also looking at the Qs. So we're gonna see what we can get today. We're gonna be looking at especially the ES, the Nasdaq, and our friend the Dow. But we'll also touch on gold and everything else that's been going on in these charts.
let's go, guys. New day, new opportunity, and of course, same trading plan, whatever trading plan you have. And we see a lot of momentum coming. This was a gap down opening, and let's see what we can get today. And we are like 30 minutes away from the market open time. And let's see what we can do today.
Let's see what we
Thoughts
can
and yeah.
do. Let's see what we can do. You got disconnected for half a second there, but you're back. All
All right.
good. We have Game Show 360 in the house. Good morning. Good morning.
Game show. How are you?
Let us know what you're trading. Let us know what you're looking at. We hope you had a good week and that you were green. If you were not, it's not a problem. As we said last week, we either win or we learn. So
Yes,
we're
win or
gonna
learn. That's nice.
we're gonna do that today. All right. So I'm gonna take a quick look at the ES and the Nasdaq, and then I'll let you take your analysis on the Dow if you want, Samir.
Yes, definitely.
All right, no problem. All right, so let's load up the ES on our.
Hopefully, my connection is stable now. Let me see.
No problem. It looks good so far. It was
Okay,
lagging a
okay.
little bit, but you're looking good. You're looking good.
All right. Hopefully, it's good.
All right,
Anyways, so we are
guys.
at ES. Okay, let me see. Let me know what your thoughts are on ES.
Sure, yeah. So we're looking at the ES right now. We had that $7,000 level that we were trying to break. You know, we spent about 3 months from October to about mid-February trying to get past this level. We were not able to do so. We pulled back all the way to the 6,300s, and then we had a very, very, very nice break of trend. So if I consider this to be the trend, we had a nice break of trend on the positive news there. I think this was the ceasefire news. And then we continued to break the highs as we heard that the strait was going to kind of, open back. But now it's open, but not open. So we don't really know what's going on there. We're not
Yeah.
sure what I don't even want to say the U.S. government. I want to say the U.S. president. We're not sure. At least I'm not sure what his final position is going to be. But just looking at the dailies here, we're going to look a little bit at a longer time frame, and then we'll talk about what we can see today. Like I like to say, there's the bullish case, the neutral case, and the bearish case. So if we're bullish all week, of course, we're printing an inside bar today. We had a little gap down. So what we want to see for the day is, can we go and reconquer, those highs, fill the gap quickly, and go, continue to push higher here. That's what we're looking at for the bullish case today. And if we would continue, and if we're able to do that throughout the rest of the week, then we will continue to form our bullish structure. Now, maybe it will be a little bit more subdued because I have to say, looking around, this has been the fastest recovery ever. We've been just printing green days after green days on both indexes. So we'll see what we can get if we are bullish. Now, if we're neutral, that inside bar will most likely either remain an inside bar or turn red and go retest those 7,070s, 7,100s, or maybe a little bit lower on the ES. And we would continue to consolidate sideways, maybe kind of like something we got around January or early October. So that would be the neutral case. And then the bearish case would be we reject those highs and we start to pull back and go retest those levels. So we would go and pull back and retest those highs there. Maybe, of course, that's not just today, but over the next few days, the coming weeks, we will pull back, retest here for a good break and retest setup, and maybe pull back to the 50% of the range. Of course, if we do that, that does not mean that we're completely bearish overall. It would just say that, okay, we've pushed higher. People need to take profit. People need to see what is going on. So we have a very interesting, nice call out here from Game Show, who's saying XPX options. He's seeing 7150 call wall. All right, so 7150 is right around here. Let me put my line here. 7150 would correspond to probably the open of the gap. So let's look at what this looks like here. I haven't looked at the options data this morning. 7150. Of course, that's the futures. 7150. There we go. Right there, which is exactly where the gap formed. So that is a logical level, you know, there for us
Yeah,
to
that makes
retouch
sense.
into.
Mhm.
Yep. So yeah, so that's what I'm looking at least longer term on the ES. As usual, we will open, we'll allow, you know, about 15 minutes to let the asset show us what it wants to do, and we'll take our trades based on that. I don't know if you have a different take on the ES, Samir, but that's what I'm looking at right now.
All right. It is ES. Let's see. I haven't traded ES, but for the analysis purposes, I think I can do that. But I think all these indices somewhere moves in the same way. Like every indices, like if you take a look at Nasdaq, Dow Jones, they just gap to the downside. And I have noticed quite few times we fill this gap, and ES is XPX 500, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. All right, we gapped up here. That is a 15-minute time frame, and we also can fill this gap actually. Okay, going to the daily time frame. I'm not sure if I'm seeing the right chart here. Let me look at other chart here.
You can look at the ES. It's 10 minutes delayed, but you can look at the ES. It's gonna say futures ES1 plus.
Oh yes, now it's fine. Yeah.
There you go. You got the perfect
All
one.
right. So this is some kind of resistance. We broke out of this. Okay, decent. Let's take a look at weekly candle. Way too bullish. I don't think you should be looking at sells in this case, because look at this candle. I don't even want to see how many points it is, but just look at the volume. It is way too huge here. So definitely buyers are interested here. Just looking at the candles, just understanding the nature of the price. Right now we are in the impulsive phase, right? On the weekly candle. And now let's go to the daily candle. Definitely impulsive phase here, which is to the upside. Clearly you can see here, okay? So this type of nature is very important when I see the charts. Right now we are in the impulsive phase, and definitely I can expect some type of correction and then again impulse to the upside, because this is fresh impulse. I don't think we can do some V-shaped recovery type of thing. That is not the case, because we have spent quite few time here. If it has to, become a liquidity point, it should have rejected and closed back in the range, but it didn't. So definitely taking the signs from the market right now, we are definitely seeing strength to the upside. So definitely looking for buys will give you a little bit more edge in this type of market condition. Let's take a look at 2 hour. Let's take a look at 4 hour actually. I'm just gonna erase this market timing. If I'm not sure how to do it. Okay, forget it. I'll find it later on, but let's just continue with the analysis. Okay, we are respecting this area. We are going bullish, almost about to fill the gap, which is highly likely basically to fill. Price can fill this gap basically. Going to the 1 hour time frame, okay, we are making higher highs slowly, but this is not impulsive, which I don't like. So what I think the market open can do, definitely we have a gap. If you are looking for buys here, which you should actually, based on the momentum and the impulses to the upside, I think you should be looking for buyers only. Going to the 2 hour, 4 hour, let me see if I'm missing anything. Okay, 30 minute. Okay, decent. Okay, VWAP is bullish now. I think once the market open, this is the first area you should observe. Why? Because this is some kind of demand area from where the impulse has started. We can also liquidate this. It's okay. That is also fine. Observe this level also, because this is some kind of demand area also, and then you can also draw this trend line, and we can liquidate this a little bit. That's fine. So these are two areas. Let me erase everything. Let me draw it for you guys once again. First area can be this, and second area can be this low. And yeah, this support area you can watch, here and there. So I'll just say these two areas because this is very close, this area. So once market opens, impulse to the downside, don't be afraid, watch the price, wait for 5 to 10 minutes and see what price is trying to do, and then definitely looking for longs makes sense. We can fill this gap. So this is kind of analysis number one, or anticipation number one, or plan number one. So what can be the plan number two, or trade idea number two, whatever you want to call it. So trade idea number two can be, we impulse to the upside, we did a V-shaped recovery type of thing, and we break this VWAP. If we break this VWAP, then I think we have already filled the gap. Then we can go towards this support area, or maybe this wick, and definitely you can take advantage of that move also, because you are a trader. If you're investor, then definitely you should look for good areas for buying, and you should hold. But as you are a trader, you have the privilege to short the market for a very short period of time. So I think if we close below the VWAP, shorting is also not a bad idea. But again, if we reject it from the VWAP, then definitely that is a buying idea again. So the most important thing here is noticing the price, waiting for the confirmations when it gets to your area. In this case, we have a couple of VWAP here, we have liquidity area, and we have some kind of demand area. Once price gets to your area, my areas are this, your areas can be different. I'm just giving you my point of view. Wait for at least 5 to 10 minutes and see how price reacts in that area. Okay, so ES is this to me, this type of analysis. But I trade US30 most of the times. Let me delete everything. So this is also kind of the similar type of analysis. Going to the daily time frame, impulsive candle looking very strong. And let me see. Okay, 4 hour. Okay, we are almost about to fill the gap. Let me start with the daily time frame here. Okay, daily we have some kind of demand area here. In future, if the correction extended, I think this can be the buying area, but that's not the concern for today's session. I can leave this area just like this in case we can use it as future reference. We can also do price close like this. There will be a fair value gap, price tap this and continue its momentum to the upside, because definitely strength is to the upside. And I am that kind of trader who likes to see where the strength is in current market structure, which is this in my case. I will see from here to here. So right now we are going bullish, so I am bullish, okay, on the daily time frame. Now let's go to the 4 hour time frame. 4 hour, we have this kind of resistance area. Okay, seems decent. Now let's go to the 1 hour time frame, which can be a crucial time frame, because this is the time frame which most traders use, and definitely it is a good time frame. You should pay attention to this time frame. What I can see, this is a wick demand area. Let me delete everything. Wick demand area. These type of areas do get filled, and if you see some kind of reaction, then definitely this can be a buying area. And the the plan can be the similar as we discussed on the ES. Price coming downwards, some rejections, some kind of patterns, you see a breakout of the trend lines, and you can enter buys here. Okay, so this is the idea number one. Let me delete everything. Let me do it like this. Idea number one can be here. Okay, so taking buying opportunity somewhere around here. Idea number two can be, if you look closely at the 4 hour time frame, you will observe this very small fair value gap, which is right below the 15-minute kind of structure here. If price breaks this area, and even we can even tap this area, that is fine. And if we see even one rejection, I think this can be a risky trade, but you can easily squeeze a good risk to reward in this kind of trade. Let me put it that way. If your normal risk is $100, in this kind of setup, you can risk $30. Maybe you can risk, that much to expect at least, 1 to 3, 1 to 2, something like this. So this can be the risky trade, but definitely worth taking because trade is making sense. We have multiple confirmation, we have this demand area, liquidity area, 4 hour fair value gap, VWAP is bullish, trendline liquidity can be also used, price faking here, some kind of giving a fake breakout and trying to find its feet, and we can fill this gap. I do want to take bias today because I have seen this kind of gaps do get filled, but the only problem is I should wait for the price to get to me. I don't want to, enter immediately. So this can be the first area. Again, I will repeat, this can be the second area, which is based on the 4 hour fair value gap. This very small fair value gap. And also a VWAP will be, retested. And we are just 15 minutes away from the market open. These are the two areas I'm looking at Dow Jones. Similarly, on ES also it was similar kind of analysis. So let's see how price behaves in these areas, and then we can take action. If we manage to get trade somewhere around here, then risk to reward can be 1 to, I don't even want to call it 1 to 3 or whatever, but definitely you can catch 1 to 2 easily, or even 1 to 1.5. That can be a good move because as a trader, I think your job should be to secure, to just cut your position or take profits home, you
Take the
know
payroll. Take the payroll.
the payroll. Yes, the payroll, yes, that makes perfect sense here. And let's see, guys, what we get today. 14 minutes to the NYSE open. And let's take a look at gold also. I know many people trade gold. Oh,
Yeah,
wow,
that's
we
what I'm
just
looking
closed
at right
above.
now.
Yes, we closed above. Amazing. Let's take a look at let's do a multi time frame analysis here. Looking at the 4 hour, okay, bullish candle, kind of a wick down. Okay, it also wick down. Okay, the gap is here. Makes sense for buys. For buys here, for longs. Okay, 2 hour. Okay, kind of a dodgy type of candle, but this candle is trying to cover this wick. Okay, now 1 hour. Okay, seems like we found some kind of support here.
No problem. No
I have
problem.
to, I have to see who is outside banging my door. Just give me 10 minutes.
No problem.
Not
No
10 minutes,
problem.
just 1 minute. I'll be
We'll
back.
we'll be right here. We'll be right here waiting from you, and then I'll take it over from you so we can look at gold. I've been looking at gold really quick, like Samir was saying. So if we take a little bit of a longer view, okay, let's go to the daily time frame. We've been slowly climbing back up on gold. Before I continue on this, I just want to say hello. We have Tinana in the house. How you doing? We have GN Rhoda in the house. Hello, hello, welcome. Let us know what you're looking at, what you're looking to trade. Now, we've had a lot of people show interest in gold these days, so we're gonna take a quick look at gold. Longer term, my inflection line in the sand level is 5,000. So we don't necessarily, we're not necessarily going to get that. But we want to look at gold. All right. We got the man
All
Samir
right,
who's
thank you so
back.
much.
No, you're
All
fine. You're
right, thank
fine.
you.
Yeah, we're taking a
Yeah.
quick look, at gold here. So we just like the other assets, we had a gap down on gold. So there is this gap literally here to fill, right? And we have broken over the 50% of this gap. So we are definitely continuing to look bullish there with a trend. So we want to see what kind of levels we're gonna get. I just was looking at my volume profile here on gold, and we have the 48 10 level more or less. That was our point of control, and we are here at those this low volume node here. So we don't know if they're going to capture liquidity, pull back, and continue higher. But these levels, the 48.10 and the 48.30s, are interesting levels to look at. And then the next level after you fill the gap would be those 48.50s. So we'll see what we get there. Let me just put these levels on my Black Arrow platform. And I know Samir was going to talk to us a little bit about he's looking at on
Yeah.
gold. So I'm going to pass you the mic right now and pull up
Thank
your
you.
screen.
All right.
So let's
Thank you.
see.
Thank you
We
once
got
again. I was looking at gold, and definitely gold is showing momentum to the upside. 1 hour kind of fill this fair value gap, impulse correction, another impulsive move to the upside. 15-minute closed above. I think this is a good buying opportunity if you break this area. Stop loss placement below the 30-minute can make sense. Take profit, at least go for 1 to 1. Let's take a look at 5 minute once again. Okay, 5 minute broke out of the consolidation, trying to go to the upside. That makes sense. Okay, this can be the entry signal here because we are re-breaking the highs. But as I don't trade gold, so I will not be entering here. But just for the analysis purposes, definitely looking strong. We try to, show a fake breakout type of thing, but again closing back, basically closing to the upside based on this resistance. So definitely, if you try to read the story just for 30 seconds here, just try to see, price breaks out, was not able to sustain here, again breaks to the upside, which show you this can be a pullback. This was a fake breakout, and again price is trying to break to the upside, which can indicate, okay, maybe price can go to the upside. So I think here you can definitely take your shot, and you can do, of course you should not go heavy risk here. Just use your, if your risk is again $100, go for $30, go for $40. Later in the session you can use that risk, so
if I can just add a quick note on that. I definitely like your point of view, and I like the fact that you showed the fake out and the pullback. And I'm just looking at something really quick here that this move has that the other one didn't have. Since I have my volume bars pulled up here, is that of course it was a different session. When we had the first impulse here, we did have some decent volume, but we had a increase of volume on that wick here, which can show you, if you have a wicking candle, top wick with an increase in volume, that is kind of a pivot, a push back to the downside. Now, the fact that we pull back and sustain the highs, we're still above VWAP, we're still on trend, we're retesting those highs in very important volume on that candle. This is a 15-minute chart. We did get volume that is almost equal to the previous pullback. To me, that is a bullish sign. That means that, okay, people left the store, but a lot of people walk back in to the upside. So if we can
yeah.
sustain this, this is 60-40 to the upside to me. Unfortunately, risk-wise, it doesn't make sense for me to take this trade on this account yet, but it's definitely, I agree with Samir's take here on gold. Let me put your screen back on.
All right, so the trade was somewhere around here, re-breaking the highs. Stop loss placement was here, and let's go for at least 1 to 1 because look at this candle. I have mentioned this couple of times in the forex stream or CFD side. In our main channel, these type of wicks or these type of candles, which candle, basically the candle, those candle who don't have a wick, price tries to create it in future. So definitely this is a very solid analysis here with the multiple things aligning. And if you just make a story, because I think if you're not making the story of the trade that you are taking, why price is doing a certain thing, then I think that confidence, there can be, the confidence level will not be that much. To me, the story, the way I made the story of this particular price, tries to close above, faked out, again trying to go up, which means we may have, I don't want to call it that way, but I don't have any good analogy in my mind. So I will say we took out the stop losses here, pull back, who was taking shots here, stop losses to them also. So now definitely we may can get actual move. So let's see.
No problem. I have a call here from Lib Kartik, who's asking you to
Okay.
take a look at the US 30. I know you just looked at it again, but
Karthik.
it doesn't hurt
Mhm.
to re-look.
All right. So we have just 6 minutes left for the market to open. And Karthik, first of all, welcome to our futures channel. And secondly, let's do some analysis. I'm just gonna be quick here, going to the 4 hour time frame. I'm that kind of trader who likes to go intraday. I don't wanna see the daily candle, weekly candle, but just for the analysis purposes, I do that sometimes. But for me, I just mark 4 hour areas. To me, this is a fair value gap. First thing, 2 hour. Okay, we are seeing impulsive leg to the upside. 1 hour, we are seeing this wick which is not filled yet. Definitely, I'm looking for a pullback here. Okay, trade idea number one, market open, pull back, couple of rejections. I am buying here. Okay, trade idea number one. Trade idea number two is if we break this area and we regain this area, basically in easier term, which can be a liquidity move, closing back above, I am buying here. Okay, stop loss, I don't like to keep my stop loss way too tight. I will give it a little bit room here, maybe 100 points. And trade idea number three, actually I don't have a trade idea number three yet. I can draw a scenario like if we break this trend line and we closed below, then maybe I will wait for a pullback and then try to find shorts. This is idea number three, but I wants to look at buy because we have this gap also, which most of the times do get filled. Of course, not every time, most of the times. Okay, so let's see market open in about 4 minutes. I just want these two areas to get respected. And how will I know it will get respected? By going to the 1 minute time frame and waiting for some kind of consolidation, waiting for trend line breakouts. So these are 2 3 scenarios which I use, or 2 3 concepts that I use. Then I will know maybe this area is trying to hold. So that's how I'm gonna plan my trade today on US 30. And yes, it's gonna be a first trade of this week. We don't have to be impatient. I've drawn two areas. Let's see how price behaves around this area now.
Indeed, indeed, indeed. Let's see what happens around these areas. Now we're going to go back to my screen. I have the US 30 open, but we're going to do a quick analysis and look at my friend, the Nasdaq. Like Samir was mentioning, all the indexes are looking similar. We're looking to close the gap. I'm going to be a little bit patient because, we've been trading the opening ranges and allowing for the first 10-15 minutes to develop. But as you can see, since this morning, we had, a lot of volume come in. We're continuing to push to the upside. So we're going to see, who wins the battle. Are the shorts going to win? Are the longs going to win? But so far, we have, like we've been mentioning, this gap here that is slowly but surely getting filled. I am sure that looking at my volume profile, this 26,800 level is probably an area where we would have an options call wall, and we can have a gamma flip there. So what we want to see is, okay, can we reconquer this level quickly? Okay, and then will we sustain the move above it? So are we going to do, let's start with the bearish case, which would be a move up here quickly. We capture liquidity, so we wick up there, and then we really fast pull back to the downside, maybe consolidate a little bit around here and continue a bearish structure. I don't know if that is the most likely scenario, right? But that would be the bearish thesis. If on the contrary, we're not able to reconquer this, or maybe we do, but the shorts are not as sustained as we would expect, nor are the longs, then we would see some sideways moves where we reject up here, we pull back here, and then we form this kind of, sideways type of action where we can't find bottoms because the bottoms get bought, and we can't find tops because the tops get sold, and we would probably remain inside of this previous gap, and that would be the continuation of the inside bar, right, where we would remain inside the longer time frame bar here. We'll see what happens. And then finally, we have our bull case, which I think is probably the most likely scenario here because we've been printing longs for the past few weeks. Is we break out of here, we pull back, we don't even, we forget about all those lower levels here. We form like a 100-point move, we pull back around these highs, and we continue with a bullish structure. So we'll see what we get. I'm going to be patient today. And see if we can form an opening range and possibly break out of this range, so we could have some good levels to risk off of. So we are open, we are moving now. Let's see what we get. Do we wick up and pull back, or are we able to sustain these moves and continue the move to the upside? So we've had
All
calls
right.
for US 30, calls for the Nasdaq. We've looked at everything here except oil, which we will look at in a few after we can see what these initial moves are. But so far, that's what we're looking at, and hopefully we can get some good trades. Let me ask you, Samir, are you still doing one trade a day, or did they can't convince you to do otherwise?
Actually, I tried, I'm not gonna lie, which again didn't play it in my favor. So again, I'm back to one trade a day because I
All right,
think my mindset, my body, it stays healthy, or it performs the best when I stick to this thing, which is
nice.
one trade a day. So I'll be patient again, as you mentioned.
Yep.
Same as you. I'll be watching the price and see what we can get today.
All right, no problem at all. I like that. Samir going back to what works for him. He's tried and sticking to what makes sense. I like it. So right now we're forming our opening range, which is something I like. I've developed this little indicator that I'm going to show you guys, which helps me trade the opening range. Let me turn it on. These are the volume profiles. So what I like, what this indicator does for me is that it traces the range. So it's going to give me two blue lines when the first 15 minutes develop, and then the green lines are potential take profits, and this yellow line here is the 50% of the range, and then those purple lines are, oops, sorry, my headphone fell off. I'll get it in a few. The purple lines are the lows. And then I could see as well, some things that I like to look at, which is the height of the range, what the VIX is doing, the dollar, etc. So as we take the trade, I'll show you guys and tell you guys what it's telling me. This is the YM I have open, but let's look at the NQ. So interesting difference here. We have the YM printing and moving up while the NQ has shown relative weakness. So this is an interesting point of data. Let's just look at the other indexes and see where they align. Okay, so the ES is printing green as well. And let me look at the Russell. The Russell is printing green. So interesting take there. That means the NQ is the weakest. So the tech sector is the weakest of the three. So last time that happened, we had the YM being the weakest of the three, and then things reversed bearish. So we want to see, okay, what's going to happen here, because we have the Russell, we have the Dow, and the ES all more bullish than the Nasdaq. So it's definitely an interesting take here. Is the Nasdaq the leading indicator that's going to take us to the downside and show us the pullback, or is the Nasdaq the one lying and the other three are telling us the truth? So it's interesting to see right there. We're going to see what happens in a few. I just want to take a quick look at the other assets. Let's take a look at the VIX. The VIX is at 18%. So not huge volatility there, between, up to 20. To me, the VIX is behaving the way it's supposed to. Enough volatility for us day traders, but not so much that your risk is, you're unable to control your risk. If we go above 20, then that's a different story. Let's look at the advanced decline. So far, more stocks are advancing than declining. Let's look at the tick chart. The tick is ticking green. Let's look at the vol ratio, which is up volume minus down volume. Vol ratio is also barely moving, but ticking green. And let's look at our Mag 7 stocks. So Nvidia green, Apple up 0.7%, Tesla up. Let's look at Microsoft. Okay, Microsoft pulling back. Amazon pulling back, Meta kind of neutral, Google ticking down, and Broadcom also ticking down. So kind of mixed results here, mixed bag. We have some ticking up, some neutral, some ticking down. So it's not even 5 minutes to the open. We have to wait and see what we get. We're gonna rotate to gold really quick unless Samir wants to add something.
I'm just waiting for at least 5 to 10 minutes and see what we do on YM or Dow Jones. I
Yep.
do want to get buy, but right now we are seeing impulsive candles to the downside. I want some kind of correction here so that it can indicate me then yes we may can continue bullish and to maybe touch the highs again. So let's see.
Yeah, let's see what we get. So now gold is continuing. So just a quick and nice insight here. If you guys like traditional chart patterns, this is what a cup and handle looks like. So you had the cup, you had the, well, not the best drawing here. All right, yeah, you had the cup, you had the handle, and here we're continuing to the upside. So far this is looking like a bullish formation, and we haven't quite touched the gap. We haven't closed the gap yet. So let's see what we get. This is continued patience for us. On my end, I'm gonna wait for the first 15 minutes to develop. We're going to be patient, and we are going to see what happens. Let me see in the chat. Let me know, guys. Don't be shy in the chat. Let me know what you're looking at. Let us know if you want us to analyze anything in particular. The only thing I haven't looked at is oil, which I'm going to bring up. Let's just take a quick look at oil and see. So oil pulling back. As expected, on the somewhat positive news that we've had about the strait reopening. So basically, if the strait is reopened, if we are able to get ships out of the area and get things moving, that 20% that gets moved in this area will be able to flow out to the world, which means oil prices will eventually be able to come down. Now, are they going to go back all the way to the 60s where they were before we went up on this war? We don't know. Time will tell. But right now we're back to the, those 80s, and the 80 level is where we found support previously, where after we pulled back from that huge 119 point peak. So will this support area, like I have it marked here, will it hold? And if it does hold and oil reverts back to the upside, then that means that our indexes are going to, as oil, it's inversely correlated. As oil prints green, then the indexes will print red. So we'll see what happens. I haven't looked at the gold to silver ratio actually in a long time, and that's something I want to look at also. I haven't looked at silver much, so let's do that really quickly before we go back to the indexes. Unless I see Samir is focused here, laser focused like a sniper, looking, waiting
Yeah.
for his trade. So let me know if you want to interject here, but I'm going to take a quick look at the
Yeah,
gold and
sure.
silver before we go back to the indexes. Okay, so gold to silver ratio right now, at least on a daily time frame, is around the $60 area. So when it comes to gold and silver, right, and you look at the ratio, if you are pointing towards the 43s, historically, this has been, well, to the 40s, I want to say, that means that you are, reaching a top. So if I zoom out, I can't zoom out more than that. So let me put it on a weekly time frame. If you go, towards those, let me get this out. Yeah, if you go towards those 30s or upper 40s, then that is a topping sign. But if you're remaining between those 60s and 70s, because it's inversely correlated, then that means we're slightly moving sideways. And then if you go and push up all the way to the 75 80s plus, then that is a bearish sign. So gold to silver ratio, basically how much silver do you need to buy gold, is what we're looking at right now. And so far we're in the middle, which means we are in a consolidation phase. Is it distribution? Is it accumulation? In my opinion, I would say it's accumulation. People are reaccumulating, and we're looking at gold on a weekly here. And gold has, even though we've opened lower than the previous week, we are pushing higher. So let's see if gold can continue, at least on the longer term time frame, and go push and become the safe haven. Well, not become, but continue to be the safe haven that it is, and continue to push up and go retest those $5,000 levels here. We'll see what happens, but we have to wait. Let me go back to the Nasdaq. So Nasdaq on a weekly time frame, like Samir was saying, super bullish. We've conquered those all-time highs. The topic of the week is trading all-time highs, and I have to say, you know, if I'm to quote Jason Shapiro from Market Wizards, he says, do not fight the all-time highs. We are intraday traders. We are able to take, ooh, nice pullback on the Qs right now. Yeah, he says that we should not, he doesn't recommend shorting all-time highs. Of course, when he says not to short all-time highs, he's talking from his perspective, which is he's a position trader, so he'll hold positions for weeks or months and stuff like that. But intraday, you know, anything is possible. That's the advantage of trading intraday, where you can get in and out fast, unlike these big guys that need, you know, days or weeks to get out of their position. So we have GN Roda that says sold gold on the 5-minute chart. Let's take a quick look again. Let's go back to gold on the 5-minute. Yeah.
Why do you short gold?
Yeah, he sold gold, but I guess he saw that we tapped here. We kind of closed the gap barely, and then you know, he's aiming short. I don't know what you're looking at. Are you looking at to retest maybe this pocket right here? Or are you looking at for this type of play where we pull back to here? Just know that this area is an interesting point, and then here, you know, this top here could act as a support. So just keep that in mind. You know, will we retest and revert back up, or will we form a structure like this and go retest these lower levels? We will have to see. Let me pull my volume profile here. Yeah, point of control for the session is down there at the 4800s. So we will see what we get on gold, but good luck to you, GN Roda. Is the G in your name for gold? Let me know. Is it for GC? What are you looking at, Samir? I see you focused. Every time Samir's focused, he's just printing thousands.
I was looking at the US
millions.
30.
All right.
Millions. We'll get to that. Anyways, so US 30 seems like we have covered the gap, and I was seeing the 1-minute time frame, and I'm spotting this double top type of thing. I think if we can break this area, this is the area, we definitely can at least come to the VWAP area, which is something like this. Stop loss can be above this area. So this is what I'm eyeing on. I want the price to break this area, and that will be good for I think that will be good. Yeah.
All right. Almost here at those 15 minutes. I'm being super patient here, waiting for.
If I short it here.
All right, we have Life with Rohit saying shorted MES at 71.150. Okay, let's look at the ES again. 150. So you shorted that call wall, which is good. But I am waiting to see what we get.
Okay.
We're retesting these levels here. We're retesting those 150s, so nice. Let's see what we get. But interesting entry. We closed the gap, and actually, this is the ES. This is not the micro, so I can't trade this on this account. But
Actually, you are showing my screen. If
yeah,
you
I'm
want
gonna
to,
go back to
yeah.
mine. So yeah, looking at the ES here, so interesting area to short. Let's see. You have this little fair value gap here on the 1 minute time frame. So you're still inside of that there. So interesting area to short. I just need a little bit more confirmation. I would need to kind of see it start to roll over maybe from here. I don't want it to consolidate too much. So we'll see what happens here. But hopefully you get what you're looking for, and that is that turns into a great entry. We just look at the secondary trend here. We have this secondary trend on the ES that is here. And by the way, I always like to look at trends using these lines. I'll put it on a 5 minute because the line kind of removes all the noise from the candles, and I can find those bottoms, here. And that's how I'll draw my trend lines. I know it's probably unconventional, but that's what works for me. That's what I found works. And also, if you look at here, you'll get kind of some angles, and you can find, a channel, because price is always channeling up and down and entering and exiting out of those channels. So here on the 5 minute, we are trying to pierce these levels on the ES. But we will see, will they hold or will they not? This is why today patience is of the essence for me. Let me just go back to the Nasdaq. Nasdaq trying to hold the highs, and again we have kind of like this. Well, it's not really a fair value gap because we have this wick here, but a lot of liquidity in this area. So we've formed now our opening range, right? Our opening range is, I like to put it in pink. So we have our opening range here. We are trading inside that range, and we just tested the bottom of the range. So we want to see, okay, can this hold as support? We're right above the VWAP, at least on the 1 minute. Can this hold as support? Can we break back above the top of the range, pull back and continue higher? Or, will this, on the contrary, break the low of the range, right? Maybe retest the low of the range and continue lower. But there are many levels here and many areas of contention, because like Samir mentioned earlier, this area, which is the Asian high, might become support, and we might find support here and revert back to the upside, right? Or will we need to go and retest the Asia lows lower here and revert to the upside? Or will this become a pullback? So many things are possible here. You just kind of have to pick your spot, decide what makes the most sense to you, and enter the trade. But this is why today I'm being extra patient, because trading the all-time highs can be tricky. You have people that feel that, hey, we are at all-time highs. We need to pull back because we've just rushed too fast, too high, and a lot of people entering shorts, and then you have a lot of people who have that FOMO feeling, who missed out on part or maybe all of that move. And I'm talking about the big players here. I'm not talking about smaller players that can't really move the markets. I'm talking about the ones that can move the markets. Well, these guys are probably thinking, hey, we need to either add more to our positions or actually enter long here. And then you could have that fight there where price doesn't go anywhere for a while until the stronger side wins the fight. So we'll have to see what happens there. We had an interesting 1 minute print here. Nasdaq tried to push up on volume and got sold, got rejected. So we'll see if that holds or not. Let's take a quick look at the ES. So ES still rejecting those 150 highs. We'll see what we can get there. Let's see our gold. Gold's pushing lower. So gold has filled the gap and is pulling back. So who took the gold trade? We had GN Rhoda who took the trade. So your trade is probably looking good right now. And Samir, what's your take right now on the YM? Let me pull up your screen if
I
you
do
don't
like the
mind.
idea of, yeah, definitely. I do like the idea of shorts here. Why? Because we are squeezing to the upside, way too away from the VWAP. RSI is showing some kind of divergence, and if I decide to take shots at the breakout of this level, my stop loss can be here, and I can easily go for 1 to 1.8 or something like this, at least to the VWAP. And remember, that was also the 1 hour VIC demand area, which I do have, which I've seen couple of times. Price tries to fill these type of areas, and on the 5 minute, this can be the supply area. Why? Because some kind of consolidation, big move to the downside. Of course, we have a gap, but still, this is a supply to me, and this can be the last area from where price can go to the downside. Above this idea is invalidated. This idea is not valid anymore. Going to
Above
the
which
1 minute,
area? I didn't see.
it was on
That
the
was
five
45.
minute.
Okay. Okay.
Let me do it once again.
No, I got it.
Okay,
I got it. I was just looking at the rectangle, but I got it.
yeah, this
Yeah.
this is the area.
Okay. All right. Well, let's see. Let's see what we get. At least for me, like I said today, patience is the key word. Um,
Let's
personally,
ignore.
I'm not getting a clear read yet. This could still go both ways, at least in my opinion. So I'm just gonna keep on being patient here to see. So gonna bring back my screen really quick, and so we're seeing a little bit of buying here on the Qs. I have my little indicator here, which kind of, is my reference guide. And so far, it tells me no, there are no valid longs here. I had the B. The B is kind of a B setup, B breakout setup. The way this works is, um, let me try to find an actual scenario where this worked. And by the way, I've been working on this. I'm not a programmer, and I'm so happy that now you can program using Claude. And I've done so much back testing, so many things in an automated fashion lately. It's great, and it's all free. I've even developed my a trade reviewing software with Claude, so I don't
That's
have to
awesome.
pay. Yeah, I don't have to pay a membership anymore. I just review my trades and tell it does exactly what I want, how I want. It's great.
Okay, that's amazing. So you did the coding or everything?
Yeah, Claude did the coding. I just told it what I want, and
Okay,
then it generates the whole code and it gives me
that's amazing.
suggestions. Yeah, it's great in
All
that
right, actually,
sense.
on US 30, we are breaking to the downside. And definitely, if we break that level, as I mentioned, I think this pattern is also breaking out. We need to close below
Let me pull up your screen. Interesting
49.
that interesting that the Nasdaq is moving on the other side now. It's like the Nasdaq is inversely correlated
Yes.
to the YM right now. The Y, okay.
All right, we
Let's
have
see NQ.
on the 1 minute, guys, US 30, we have closed this candle. I think this can be, but I want the price to close below this. I think that can be the good sign. Stop loss can be 140, 50 points. You can easily secure 1 to 1, or at least till this VWAP, which is 1 is to 1.4, something like this. So, yes, RSI, some kind of divergence. Let me erase RSI because I do use it sometimes just for the extra confluence. Why
Hmm.
not to? I mean, you can boost your confidence to this way if you have a couple of indicators also aligning with your price action or your buys. I don't base my decision on RSI, but this is the kind of setup that I use, which is if price is way too away from the VWAP and we have some kind of area, price show some kind of pattern, then definitely I can take some kind of reversal trade also.
Nice.
So yeah.
I like I like the way you said RSI can boost your confidence. I
Oh
think
yeah.
that's a very good take. Use use indicators to just add a check in your favor, but don't just trade because the indicator indicated that you should take the trade. So I really like
Yeah.
this take.
Somebody shorted gold. Let's do a top down analysis once again, because on the in 6 minutes 1 hour candle will close. Okay, if 1 hour candle closed somewhere around this body, or let's just say below this body,
Mhm.
then I think it is very hard for gold to go to the upside. But that is, it has to do in 6 minutes, which may not happen. Okay, 30 minutes, way too bullish candle here. We have a fair value gap also here, which we may can see some reaction from here. 15 minute, actually I am still eyeing on a buying opportunity here. Of course I don't trade gold, but if I was trading gold, definitely still I will look for buys. Let's go to the 1 minute time frame. Okay, you can also see, big consolidation. Still, it is bullish to me. So I will not short this. It is just my opinion. You should follow your trading plan. So what? It can be your day. I can hit a stop loss. And if it goes in my favor, you can hit your stop loss. But of course, in the long run, if you follow your trading plan, you are going to win. US 30. Yeah, I that will be good if you break below this. That's it now.
So
Going to
let's see
the
what we get. I'm seeing the other indexes turn bullish right now. So the Nasdaq is turning bullish. The ES is definitely bullish because we've taken out that 150. We've closed. Well, we're almost closing the gap. So let's see. Let's see what we get. Let me just get my screen back on here. It's a tough read, at least for me today. We formed, this base here. So if you look, let me just take all these lines out of here. We've talked about kind of, taking the top, pulling back. So we've pulled back. We've tried to push up, and I'm sure, a lot of people got short here. And I remember somebody saying they were short at 150. We pulled back, but we formed a higher low, at least on the 1 minute time frame, and we're pushing higher now. We've broken this previous high. So far, at least on the ES right now, the structure is looking more bullish than bearish, and we are targeting I think it's 7160 level. Let's see right there. Yeah, we're targeting the close of this gap, which is about 7163. So we had the wall this morning, but this level is getting taken out. Now on the NQs, we are definitely retesting the inside of the opening range, or testing those highs. We've pulled back to VWAP. The buyers entered at VWAP, and man, look at how close it got in my box. This was where I was
the
thinking of looking for
yeah,
buys.
the
We just
NQ is
barely
really
tapped
good.
in there, and we reversed. So I didn't catch that, unfortunately, because I'm being extra
NQ was
patient.
perfect buys here according to
Yep.
even my strategy. We saw a trendline break, VWAP test, and there was
Yep.
also a couple of areas. Amazing buys.
Yeah, so this was a
Yeah.
good buy. I was on the wrong time frame on my on my indicator, but because even my indicator was like A plus, enter here, and I didn't I didn't enter. We missed that one, but it's fine. We'll see if we can get another opportunity to enter. This opportunity can either be inside the box or outside the box for me. So what does that look like? It looks like if it's outside the box, then we break out, we go retest the upper range of this, and then we continue to the upside like we've been doing these past few days, or possibly we pull back and kind of hold the halfway, so hold above this yellow line that I have here, and form some type of bullish structure. So we'll see. Today I'm being extra, extra, extra patient. I want to wait to see what happens after 10 o'clock. The reason I'm being so patient is because I've observed that when we get trend days, we consolidate in the morning, and then once we catch the trend, we catch it and never look back. So I don't want to have to fight the asset too much. I know that if it's a bullish day, then I'll get it, and then we'll be able to hold that trade for at least a couple hours. So we'll see what we get. We will see what we get. Let us know, guys. Let us know in the chat. I know we have some shorts, we have some long. I hope for everyone it happens like it did for Samir and I, where we took different sides of the
Yeah,
trade,
that
but it
was
worked.
amazing
I always
day.
remember that day. So let's see.
Yes, guys, let's run up those likes also, because for you guys, we are trying to bring as much value as we can.
Indeed.
And yes, US 30, I'm not seeing anything. Um, Actually, let me see if we broke out. Okay, we still are consolidating. If we broke that area, as I mentioned, guys, I will definitely take a short trade here, trying to catch that pullback trade, because I'm a trader. I don't mind taking some kind of reversal trades. If it is a stop loss, it's okay. If it is a if it goes in my favor, that's also okay, because these type of things I have noticed it works. And yeah, let's take
So
a look
let
at 5 minute.
Oh, I
Yeah.
was going to ask you a question regarding the 1 minute triangle you have there. So once you form a lower low, do you maintain that this is a short setup, or would the bottom wedge, so the bottom line of your triangle, would it change now and move to the other low?
Actually, this type of pattern is different. If it was a continuation pattern, this would have made sense, because we are squeezing way too much.
Hmm.
If it would have been a bullish setup, then it would have been a good setup, you know. Of course, we are impulsing to the downside. It is not a continuation setup. It is a reversal trade. So for reversal trades, I do like some kind of rising wedge type of thing. Actually, now we do have a pattern. If you observe this,
Yeah, that's what I was asking you. Is that do you extend the line to the new low, or do you keep it
yeah.
the same way?
Now, as I'm seeing the momentum, definitely this is a new pattern we have. If we break below this, of course, we need a closure here. I don't trade right at the breakout. Definitely, this is a trade for me, and I'll be happy to take this trade. We need a close below this. Everything is aligning. Let me recheck again. 15 minute. Okay, some kind of area, some kind of supply area here. And I don't want to go to 4 hour daily, because that's not what I focused on. 15-minute time frame, which is I like to use the most when it comes to the intraday trading type of thing. If I draw this Fibonacci, then also it is on the right at that 70% retracement, which I forgot to notice. Let me mark 618 also, because these are the two areas. Actually, let's keep it 786. Okay, so these are the two areas which are good areas when it comes to the pullback. Definitely, a closure below will be a trade signal for me here. Okay, pattern is good. I've noticed now that we are at the Fibonacci area also. RSI, look at this, trying to, this high was breached. Even this high was breached a little bit, but on the RSI, we are showing downwards momentum, which is just some kind of extra confluence. I don't use it as my trading signal or anything like that, but you can boost your confidence this way, as I mentioned earlier. So yes, let's see now what we get today. Let's do it like this. Yes, I think today it can be a 1 to 2 trading day again, but we need to see a break out of this trend line. That will be the entry signal. 3 minute, okay, decent. 5 minute, we are seeing a lot of rejections here. Decent. 15 minute, also a couple of rejection. 30 minute is still in play, and yeah, let's see.
Let's see what we get. We have GN Rhoda that says he closed gold with profits. Well, you deserve a round of applause.
Amazing.
Nice, 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 nice. Good on you. Good on you. You captured that gold figuratively and literally today. So good on you. Good on you. Let us see what
We
we
are breaking.
can get. So far, moving sideways for me. I'm just looking at the different assets. I'm gonna run through the magnificent sevens, those big stocks again, to just get a read on what they're doing. So Nvidia kind of, let me get this out of the way. Yeah, Nvidia kind of oscillating here, but we are still below that gap. Let me put electronic extended trading hours because I want to see. Okay, yeah, Nvidia trading below the gap. So we're down about 1% on Nvidia. Apple pushing strong higher. We have Tesla moving down. So Microsoft recovering, Amazon moving down, Meta moving down, Google kind of moving sideways, and Broadcom moving down. So it looks like so far things might be looking a little bit more bearish. Let's just look at the VIX. So the VIX is climbing about almost below 19. So an elevated VIX would be good for shorts. Let's look at the advanced decline. We're still kind of in the mid zone here. Tick chart is in the mid zone as well. And then the Volt ratio is still sideways. So not a very clear read yet. Let's me look at the Qs. So again, we were not able to reconquer these highs. So we didn't close higher on the Qs, which is kind of a bearish indication for me. Let's look at the ES. So ES, a little bit different. ES closed above the highs and still pushing higher there. Let's look at the Russell. Russell pushing higher.
This tool that you have, it looks like a Fibonacci tool to me, but I know it is different.
It's different. It's very simple. It might look more complicated. It's very simple. All it does is actually, let me show it to you on Black Arrow. All it does, it takes, so if I go on a 15-minute, it takes the first, the high and the
Oh,
low of the
okay,
first
yeah,
15
yeah.
minutes,
Okay, okay,
right?
okay.
So the
Hmm.
two blue lines you have here is the high and the low of 15 minutes. The yellow line is the 50%, right? And
Okay, yeah,
then
yeah.
the green ones are take profit. So based on, and then this is a take profit and this is a take profit. All
Okay,
it
okay.
does
Hmm.
is based on my data, based on what I trade. Usually I trade the opening range is on a bad day like today, let's say I entered here where it says A. Usually on a slow day, you see how it went to the take profit and pull back. So I usually, if you entered long, the 3/4 of the trade would end here and then it would revert back to the upside on a very to the downside, sorry. On a very good day, usually you're able to take profits. It breaks higher and these are possible targets. So it's just giving you areas of interest based on the
Hmm.
opening range, and then you decide how you want to trade it. So yeah, I use it for that because it's given me good results. And since
Yeah,
I
that's
trade
awesome.
level to level. Yeah.
If you see good results, I think you should continue to use that particular thing. On US 30, I'm not seeing the breakout to the downside, so I
Have you back on screen here?
okay, yeah. So this definitely is a very decent pattern to me. If we close below this amazing pattern here, some kind of, I will say this today is a picture perfect pattern that I
Nice.
will like to trade, because if you let me take out a photo here.
Or you do that too. You take pictures of your
No, no,
of
I am this is current paste. I'll just have to take a screenshot of this, then I will paste that for you guys. Okay, so we have, can you see here? So this
yeah.
is raising wedge to me,
Mm-hmm.
and it looks just like this example. If we break to the downside, amazing. VWAP is away from the price. Of course, this will not be my stop loss, something like this. So this makes perfect sense. You don't even have to look at the levels here or there, but of
Yeah.
course that add little bit more win rate or little bit more confidence. but just based on these patterns you can analyze what the price is gonna do. Of course it doesn't happen 100% of the times, but definitely it can give you some kind of edge or some kind of strategy. If you're finding the strategy, maybe you can try patterns here like I do. Amazing pattern again, I'm telling guys, perfect. I am shorting. If we break this area, if we close below this, we have 36 candles, 36 seconds, 33, now 32 seconds for this candle to close. If we close below this, amazing. I'm gonna take a shot. Any day I will take this trade, so regardless of the outcome.
I
Yes.
like it. I like it, and I'm sure that if you take the opening of the pattern and then you measure twice to the downside, I'm going to show you guys. It will give you the distance, just the opening of the triangle.
This one.
Yeah, and then you take it twice, it will give you almost exactly your target. So I like it.
Okay, yes, some kind of
Yeah, exactly.
like
So
that.
some kind of measured move. These are logical areas where,
Okay.
profits will be taken. So
Mm.
so I really like what Samir is showing here, and I totally agree with him. And if we do move to the downside, this I think could be an excellent trade. Um, and then once we get to that VWAP, it's a possible entry for a complete reversal to the long side. Maybe not today, maybe tomorrow. I don't know, but I like it. If we do move to the downside, I really like what you're showing here. Totally agree with the analysis.
Yes, let's see what we get today.
Let's see what we get. Let's see what we get. I'm liking it. I'm liking it a
All
lot.
right.
I'm short.
Amazing. I am in this shot
We
and
entered the same
yeah,
trade. we're for
yeah,
finally we're together. We're on the same
yeah.
trade. We're
We're
not
on the same trade. Now
competing.
we need to put some
So
arrows to the downside, guys. Let me
yes,
make it
yes,
red.
yes. Make them
Let
red.
me
Make
make it
them
red.
fat. You
Yeah.
know the secret.
Let's make them four. So, guys,
Yes.
now we
So
wanted to
so
go
I
to the
like that.
downside. And by the way, pattern look really awesome. And I would have taken this trade any day. Stop loss placement can be above that 5 minute area if you want to be extra secure. I'm just gonna mark this tool, you know,
Yeah.
just for the extra.
Just I'm gonna show something really quick to the guys regarding that same trade. So we're live in the trade right now. I entered right on the break on the 1 minute. And then what
Amazing.
I was talking about is the measured move. So for example, if you let me take this out of the way. So if you measure like let me take it wick to wick. Right? Usually I like to do close to close, but we'll be a little bit more generous today. We'll do wick to wick. If you measure from here to here, right? And then you copy and put this here, and then you copy for two moves. You have different targets here. So your targets are going to be the the midpoints and the edges. So the midpoints are going to be the half point of the range. So it's going to be here, it's going to be here and here. So what you're looking at is, okay, as we move down, you're going to have different areas, and look at how precise this is. You see, it got to the top of this here, and we're pulling back. What is happening? It's the people who got short here that are taking their one-to-one profit. So we want to see, okay, does this hold? Now, if this holds, what we're going to see is a pullback, a retest of this area here, which is the 50% of this range, if it holds, of course, and then they would short again. But when they short, now this is not the target. The target becomes the mid-range here and the lower end of this. And then if we're really bearish, then we can continue and go test the high of this in the middle of this range. So let's see. And if we get continuation to the downside, I'm adding to this trade, because this is a very, very good trade. Picture perfect here. Let's see what we get. I don't trade the Dow often, but like Samir said, this is too good not to enter. Now, if this is a fake out, then we'll revert back to the upside, and that's okay. That's totally fine. But this is too good not to trade.
Yeah, the pattern looked absolutely amazing. Now it is just a waiting game. Let's see, guys, what do we get today? And yeah,
Yeah, and if it's fast, we're gonna move really quickly. And this is, man, this is great risk reward because I'm barely risking 1 R here with 2 contracts. So I could definitely add to this trade if it continues. Maybe let me just put this a little bit higher. Give it room to breathe. If we do continue. So while this is cooking, like the young people like to say here in the States,
yeah, yeah.
we're letting it cook. Let's look at the Nasdaq. So the Nasdaq, very interesting take here. We pulled back to VWAP. They bought it, but we made a lower high, and now we're consolidating. But we're consolidating below the 50% range of this area. So this could possibly be another short entry for me. I don't want to be managing 2 assets, so I'm not going to take the short here. Let me see risk reward. I could even take this trade risking those prior highs, but I want to leave my bullets for the Dow, so we can add to it. Now let's look at the ES. ES has formed a higher high, but is pulling back towards the inside of this trend here. So, like Samir was saying, let the thing tell the story. Let's look at this on a cleaner chart. So, if you look here, right, you have this trend moving up, and price is showing you a clear trend here. If we form this channel here, we have this clear trend moving up. So we're moving inside this triangle. Now the market opens, we break out, we retest, and we break out higher. Now what do you want to do? What do you want price to show you if it's really bullish? Well, if it's really bullish, it should not go and retest the inside of this. It should pull back here and continue higher and go form another channel. Now it's pulled back a little bit more and retested the inside of the channel. So you want to see, okay, is this gonna hold? Was this just a temporary weakness? Is it gonna pull back here, hold, and continue the uptrend, or is it in fact gonna tell a different story and break out on the other side? So push back down, retest this, and continue lower before it starts to trend again. So as day traders, what we're trying to do is capture these little moments where the trend gets broken, and there's a change of character, like I could say. So we'll see what happens there. Let's go back to the YM. So we're still in the trade, still holding here. Let's see how this develops. Where we're wrong is if we go and reconquer those highs, then we'll know we'll be wrong, and that's totally fine, guys. That is totally fine. If we're wrong, we're
Yeah,
wrong.
I'm keeping a little bit more buffer above that area. Even if we treated that as a liquidity move, maybe I'll be survived. But again, if we moved higher, then it will be a stop loss day. But so
We'll
far,
see.
the pattern is good, and let's see if he rejects from here. That will be good. If it didn't, yeah, that will be good too, because we will know that this pattern failed maybe. So
Yeah,
yeah,
we
let's
will.
see.
Well, it will be information. If we fail here, sorry, if the pattern doesn't continue lower and it's actually bullish, well, that is information. Then what happens is, well, maybe we don't have our long setup on the YM, but what we can do immediately is go to another asset. For example, if it fails, is go to the NQ and now look for longs because we are entering where we were able to go long this morning. So is if it doesn't fail on the Dow and sorry, if it fails on the Dow, then we can go on another asset and look where to go long and find a better type of pattern there. So we'll see what happens. We're being patient. We're seeing, okay, can we reconquer those highs or not? And if we do reconquer those highs, then my reflex is immediately go to the Nasdaq and enter a long trade, because we will be, when I say immediately, of course it has to make sense. We're not going to do it blindly. But if we, as we lose the short on the Dow, if here we form, some kind of reversal pattern on the Nasdaq, then we will switch and rotate to this. And I want you guys to take note that that's what big money does. They rotate from asset to asset. So when you see, for example, gold moving a certain way and then the indices pushing higher, that is big money getting out of gold and rotating into equities and these types of assets. So just keep that in mind. All right, so we're rejecting here, so I'm adding to my trade, and we'll see what we get. Now we need to get our risk under control. So very interesting thing on what's it called, on Black Arrow, is if you hover your stop losses on top of each other, they will just become one stop loss. So you don't have to manage four. We're getting some wicks here. Is there some news coming out?
There is no news I checked, but if there is any tweet, then that's a different
Yeah, if
story.
there's tweets, so let me get there, because this is not normal behavior here. We started pushing lower and then we wicked up really quick. So let me just check
There
the
is no
news.
tweet so far, I
There's no
think.
tweet. Actually, JD Vance expected to depart DC on Tuesday for Pakistan. So he's going back to Pakistan. That was 32 seconds ago. So that's probably what we saw there. So if JD Vance is going back to Pakistan, that is highly likely going to be bullish for the markets, because that means that negotiations are back on the table. So we'll see what we get, how the market reacts to that, and if the algos will be in our favor or not. And then here we're looking for take profits. So take profits, like I said, we have many areas. This could be one right around VWAP. Let me put this in terms of points. And we have these highs there, where we'll probably take two. And then the rest is the bonus. So we could let it do what
I
it
think today
does.
you're gonna get the bonus, and I'm
I
gonna
don't
hit the
know.
TP. Yeah, let's be positive.
We'll
But
see.
if
We'll see.
yeah, if it goes against us, then also we have to be ready, accepting that outcome. So yeah.
Yeah, we're ready. We're seeing so far, we're doing what we said we were gonna do. The it closed below, we entered short, it pulled back, it's reversing to the downside. I added to my position like I said I was going to. And now we're waiting. This is a safety stop right now. What I don't want to see, I don't want us to go retest those highs at all. Right? If we go retest those highs, then me personally, I'm getting out of the trade and I'm looking for another setup. So we'll see what we get now. Yeah, and if we do go retest those highs, then I switch to another asset and go look for possible longs that make sense, because this trade is not on the table anymore. So we will see. We have Christopher telling us U.S.-Iran talks are planned for Wednesday in Pakistan. Okay, so that is actually bullish for the market, because if they're going to talk again, then that means that we should be hopeful, and the market likes hope. The market is forward looking. It's not trading on the news, on what's actually happening. It's trading on what might happen. So markets are forward looking. We want to keep that in mind. I don't know. These are my criteria for my trade. I don't know what you're looking at, Samir. What would be, your line in the sand where you don't want
I
to
will be
hold it?
I Yeah, that 5 minute area which I've shown on charts, that will be my invalidation point. Let's see if we trigger that area or not. Okay, we are
Alrighty.
on my chart.
Yeah.
This is the last invalidation area, and right now my stop loss placement is slightly above that area. So Let's see if we hold this area, or we can do this also. We can do this also. So let's see what scenario we get today. And yeah.
All right, let's see what we get. So now, just as a hedge, I'm probably gonna go long the Nasdaq because we
Let's see what
entered
we are doing on the NAS 100.
my area. I'm
Okay,
just
NAS is
looking
doing good.
here really quick.
I'm just gonna hold my one trade, and I'm gonna see what we do today.
No
What I get
problem at
today
all.
on Monday, on Friday. Actually, I tried to short this pair. Let me see where I tried to short. Okay, I tried to short around this area. This area. I just got a little bit profit here, about to hit 1 to 1, but then I triggered a stop loss. The concept was again same. We are way too, away from the VWAP. I was seeing third touch of the trend line, so I was like, maybe we can get momentum to the downside. I think I shot. No, I didn't short it here. I shot it around this area, somewhere around here. I was like, we have 1, 2, 3 touches of the trend line. We are away from the VWAP. So I shorted it around this area, and I just took a stop loss here. And today is also some kind of similar concept. We are away from the VWAP, saw a pattern, took a breakout, stop losses, at the decent place. And let's see what we get today. Similar kind of, not the exact similar scenario, but some kind of, the story is somewhere similar.
Yep. Let us see what we get. All right, so what I'm doing right now is hedging on the Qs and holding
Okay.
my Dow.
That's position.
I'm sorry.
So you are hedging. You are long in NQ or NAS
I'm
100
long in NQ and short on
YM.
short on YM. So we'll
Okay,
see.
yeah, longs also make sense here. We are in a consolidation phase, and definitely we can see impulsive move to the upside based on the market structure. Definitely, there is strength to the upside, but yeah, US 30. Let's see what we do on US 30. Okay, gold is showing beautiful momentum to the upside. 1 hour is breaking this high right here. 30 minute breaking high. 15 minute. Yeah, we don't have any clean direction. It is moving very slow. Higher, 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 higher,
Yeah.
low,
So
something like this.
remember, yeah, this morning I was also saying, hey, if we don't get any decisive move, it might be, a sideways type of day where we don't get any clear direction. So
Hmm.
keep
Yes.
in mind we might get one of those days also when we're just not really moving anywhere. The interesting fact here, though, is that the Dow is moving in the direction we want, as the Nasdaq is kind of moving up also. So I think
Yeah,
I'm
it is
gonna
a very
close
tricky
this
situation here.
Nasdaq. It is tricky. Close my Nasdaq for a tiny profit, and then we're just holding the Dow position.
Yeah, I'm holding Dow too, and if Trey would have played live on the stream, it would have been beautiful. But again, we are traders, and market have just opened. It has been 57 minutes in, and we still have a lot of time left for the market close. So definitely we can see the momentum. Of course, either the downside or to the upside.
We will have to see. I'm liking what I saw on the Nasdaq right now. So let me just show you guys really quick.
Mm-hmm.
Let me show you. So I'm liking what I saw on the Nasdaq right now. We saw kind of this, at least on the 1 minute, we saw kind of this engulfing downwards candle. So I was long around here. We started moving up and then we hesitated. And that level, that yellow level that you guys see here, is kind of yet the resistance we had before we form the gap. So we are oscillating below this resistance, which is good for
Okay.
us, but we are kind of in no man's land right now because we are also right above the area where it would make
Yeah.
sense to go long. But what we have in our advantage is that we retested this area twice and we were not able to push higher. We formed two lower highs. So what we want to just keep in mind is, okay, what are we doing? Are we forming kind of a, this wedge consolidation here, which we're going to break out from? Or are we moving towards forming a bearish structure where we form those, higher lows and break down to the downside? We are keeping that in mind. So on the Nasdaq, at least right now, the read is a little bit more difficult because we were not able to reconquer those highs and we're still back inside this box. And this morning I was saying how I don't like to trade inside the box. I want to get out of the box. But what we loved on the Dow, and that's what's great about trading multiple assets, is we got a clear read here, and we got a structure that really made sense where we consolidated. Sorry, we broke out, we went back, tested all these highs again, retested a second time, and we're pulling back. So I mean, this is, like Samir was saying, as clear as it gets. So if it doesn't work out, guys, as traders, we did our job. We saw the pattern, we identified it, we had our thesis, everything looked aligned. And if the news changes our price action, then that's not on us. What we want to do as traders is take the best trades we're able to take, the best
Yeah,
trades that
exactly.
are given to us, and that's what we did today. So we'll find out. We have David Francisco da Silva. Bom dia, bom dia. Hey, I'm seeing Portuguese here, so I'm guessing you're watching us from either Portugal or Brazil. I know we have a good community in Brazil. So welcome to the live, and you're watching us trade live right now, shorting the Dow with our thesis. So we'll see what happens. I think we should take a quick look at oil and see how it reacted to the news. So yep, we had a quick green uptick here on oil. We know that these are actually, let me go down to a 5 minute. We know as oil pushes up, the indices usually push down. They're inversely correlated. So we will see if we are able to continue to push lower or not. The fact that the breaking news here of JD Vance is going to Pakistan tells us that this might be positive for the markets. So we'll see what we get. But we have, good levels here, good targets. So we are managing this trade here and seeing if we can continue to the downside. Now, what I usually like to see is, can we continue with a similar structure? So we broke out, we retested these highs, and now let me copy this. We got two wicks, so we are kind of forming another consolidation here. We want to see, okay, can we break out of this? And as I'm talking, we're kind of breaking out of this. Can we break out of this and go reconquer these levels, right? So where my take profits are the areas of interest where I think measured moves could happen. What are the measured moves? Well, the measured moves are based on the size of where this consolidation started. So we measured, from wick to wick. You can do wick to wick, close to close, whatever you want, whatever works for you. Um, if you measure wick to wick, maybe you can put your take profits closer. But what we have here is a measured move. So this, and then we take the size of this move, we copy it, and kind of we could measure from here or from here and measure distances that are similar to this, and we could see that based on this area here, once we reach there, we got some buys. What does that tell you? Well, it tells you everybody who shorted up here got their one-to-one risk to reward trade more or less, or 1 to 1.5, because if you measure in terms of points, you got about 78 points here, and you were risking about 40 something points. So it's about a 1 to 1.5. Now what you want to see is a continuation, because we probably have a lot of shorts that re-entered this area here. So the next area we're looking for is, okay, we entered here. These shorts are probably risking those previous highs, so about 50, 51 points. So 75 points would be our first area of interest, which is right around here, right? And then 100 something points would be right around the 50% of that measured move, which is where we've put our first take profit, right? So we want to see, okay, when we get there, can we have follow through? Once we take that first take profit, we have taken the payroll, we've gotten paid for our trade. If you want, you can either lower your risk or move your risk to break even, depending on what works for you. Now, we can expect, if we do move all the way down there, a retest of these levels, right, before we move down. What we need to keep in mind, though, on a longer time frame, and that's why we need to look at longer time frames, and maybe I should move my trend line, is that once we get to this area, right, this area is probably the area where, and I probably should put this a little bit closer. Yeah. So this area here, once we get to this area, this is where we could revert higher, at least on the longer time frame, right? So we might get a move down and maybe a retest of this area, a lower high or a liquidity sweep, and revert back up. Why? Because we formed this channeling structure up there, and that reversal would be a flip of those those resistance levels. So you want to keep that in mind if you are trading the Dow today, right? Let's take a quick look at the Qs, the ES, and then we'll go back to gold. All right, the Qs kind of hovering below this area, below the support area here. So are we going to reverse and go long? Well, we want to see. The good thing is we're moving slowly to the downside, and usually when you're moving slowly, that means that the trend can continue for a nice period. Let's just look at longer term trends here. All right, 10:30. We haven't closed the hourly candle yet. I think Samir lost his connection here, so when he comes back, we'll let him back in. So yeah, we're pushing lower here. We don't even need to continue to risk all the way up here. We could just manage our risk. Let me see this here. Let me set up my accounts so that everything is the same. Okay. Right there. Yeah. So now we don't really need to risk a lot on this trade. Now we want to see, okay, once we get to this area here and we're getting really close to it, are we going to revert back to the upside, or are we going to go and test the inside of this uptrending channel here? And if we do, then, well, you see what I was talking about. We're getting close to this take profit area here, and people are already scaling in and taking their profits. I should risk those highs. Yeah. So yeah, that's what we were talking about. Once we start getting close here to the VWAP area, we will see people take profit. This is people measuring this move and taking profits at logical areas. So we'll see what happens there. Let's look at the ES. ES retesting VWAP. And let's look at the Nasdaq. The Nasdaq has definitely entered the area where I would consider buys. So we need to evaluate here. Let's see. Let's take a little bit of profit on the Dow. So we'll take one contract off. because we are getting in an area where longs might begin to be interesting again. So we've taken one contract off of the Dow. Let's take two contracts. All right, we've taken two contracts off of the Dow. So we've gotten paid for our trade. And now we're going to move this to break even, leave it there. We'll leave these here to see if we could take them or not and get that extra bonus, but we've gotten paid for our trade so far today. Now, what we do is go back to the Qs and see, okay, are we forming a bearish structure, or are we getting those longs that we've talked about all morning, right? So let's see if we can get those longs. Let me just take a quick look at the other assets. Let me get my indicator back up. Let me look at the Qs. Yeah, so the Nasdaq retesting VWAP. And this might just be the long reversal here. Why I want to be cautious, sorry, because things are moving slowly. So this might be a short where we broke out of, if this was an opening range breakdown, we broke out of the range, we've retested the high, and we might continue lower. That's why I'm keeping my Dow trade on. So we'll see what happens there. Let me look on the 5-minute. Yeah, this might be a continuation of our short. We will see, but we are kind of this interesting area here because we are below that gap here. Let me look at the ES to see what the structure looks like. You see on the ES, we tried to break out of the range of the opening range, and we're retesting those lows here. So will these lows hold, and can we revert back up is what we want to see. Let's take a look at gold. So gold pulled back, formed another higher high, and we are back to retesting the flip of this rejection here. So will this hold as support or not? We will have to see. So we're kind of in a middle zone here. We're kind of in this mid range where we need to see what will happen. Our short is still okay. This is looking good for the Nasdaq. We're kind of breaking below our support level, which is great for us on the Dow because that means we're continuing to push lower. So Dow trade looking good still. So let's continue to hold this and see what we can get. We're targeting the lows of this kind of area here. So we'll see what we get. Now, what we don't want is necessarily a huge increase on volume on a move up. That would mean a reversal. So let's see if we can continue to trend or not. All right, guys, we lost communication with Samir, unfortunately. He was having some internet issues this morning, so too bad on that. But let me know, guys, what are you trading? What are you looking at? I know Gian Rhoda took a gold trade today. He was nicely in profit, so good on you there. I'm just looking at a quick setup here. So we are retesting those Asia highs on the Nasdaq, right? Asia highs were here, so we're retesting these levels. Well, will they hold or not? That's what we need to determine. We're seeing increase in volume on the downside here. So far, good for shorts. And it's great that we've been able to kind of be in this short on the Dow Jones and continue to hold and print profits here. So all good so far. Let's just see if we can sustain this move to the downside and continue. So if we are really the two areas we're targeting are the high of this trend, which is where if we are going to revert back to the upside, this is a logical area where we could revert from, right? Or if we are, we filled the gap and we're just gonna pull back. Let's look at a daily time frame. Let me put the daily right here. If we are going to continue and pull back lower, then we will see, the lower ranges get retested. So the lower end of the range would be all the way down to these previous levels right here, where this trend might continue. So we could consider, for example, kind of the mid-range of this trend here. So around here, which would correspond to kind of the 50% of the measured move we talked about. So we'll see what happens. We're holding the rest of our trade to see if we can catch those extra points there, this extra bonus. And we'll see. This is going to be a hold for us there. But just keep in mind that on the other assets, we are reaching areas where you could potentially start thinking about entering longs. So, like I like to say, I stole this from somebody. Strong opinions, lightly held. Christopher is saying CL and ES for me, GC a bit too thin for my fill needs. All right, Christopher. You said you're looking at CL and ES, but what was your bias there? Did you have time to short it, or are you looking for areas where you want to go long? So let us know what you're looking at. The Dow trade was very, very nice this morning. Very, very interesting. The pattern was clear, pattern formed, and we are so far in a trade that is working very, very nicely. So we're just going to recap this really quick. We formed, at least on the 1 minute chart, this wedge consolidation here, right? We retested this 49,680, 49,683 level 1, 2, 3, at least 3 to 4 times. We broke down below this level. So as we broke down, I entered short. We went and retested the mid-range of this consolidation here below these highs. So as we did that, I added to my short, and then we kind of finally got the move we were looking for. Now that first move corresponds, and where they're buying, it corresponds to the 50% of this measured move here, right? So just keep in mind that right now we've reached this 49,527 level, which is where people might want to be covering. So we saw some covering initially, kind of people anticipating this level. Then we saw some extra covering here, still people anticipating this level. Now we're exactly at the level and we're seeing a sideways action, sideways consolidation. So all we want to see here is, okay, will we have follow through and really go test those lows? Or will this be the level where we revert from and kind of push back higher? So that's what we're looking at, and we'll see what we get. All right, Christopher's saying 71.59 had heavy volume on the ES, watching it decline, 71.39. Where it appears there's a decision to be made, the medium thick in both areas. All right, let's take a quick look at the ES. 71.59.50. So I guess that would be 71.49 if you're trading the CFDs. I'm trading the futures. So right now we're seeing some buying. It's right at VWAP. Let me look at this on a 5-minute. So yeah, if this is able to hold, this is a good area, a good pullback. We talked about this morning. I have my level a little bit lower where we might go look for long. So I'm keeping that in mind. Also with the Dow trade. Jan Rhoda asking, where was the stop loss? I don't know if you're talking to me or Christopher. What I can tell you is where my stop loss was for the Dow. And yep, as predicted, we're seeing some buying here on the Dow Jones. So we're just going to decide, okay, where is our line in the sand for this trade? Where do we not want this to go retest? Because we could pull back. So I could measure, from here to here, and I like to do that, is like, okay, this is the type of pullback we got this morning, and will we get a similar pullback? Well, guess what? If we get that pullback, it will stop me out and get me out of the trade. So I'm not gonna move my stop loss. I have it at a place where I can pay for commissions. And if this continues lower, it'll take me out. If not, then we'll just get stopped out, break even on the rest of the trade, and it will just be maybe a 1 hour day for me. Now, for GN Rhoda to answer you, so as I entered the short here, my stop loss was way up here around this area. But the reality is, my line in the sand was this high. So what I will do is, let me take this for example. Let's go here. Let me hide the positions. All right, we're moving up sharply here. Should we look for longs on the Qs or the ES? We should probably look for longs on the ES. 49. It's going to be 11 o'clock. All right, here's what we're going to do. We're going to be extra patient today. If I miss this, I miss it. But here's what I want to see to enter along on the ES. I want to see this move like this. I want to see a pullback, and then I want to see it continue. And I want to see that pullback form a higher low above VWAP or close to that. I don't want to see any liquidity sweeps. That's what I will wait for to take a long. I'm not going to take a long right now. Because this might just be, shorts covering, and then we do another leg to the downside. I might be wrong, but hey, we're already in profit. We don't need to do much right now. Now, let's go back. So for my trade this morning, let me get the position out of the way so you could see, show positions, show orders. We'll get the position back in a few. So when I entered here, right, my stop loss was way up above here, risking about 100 something points. Why was it way up there? Well, this is just a protective stop loss. What I want to see is, when we pull back from here, can this go and reconquer those highs, right? If this went and reconquer those highs, then I would get out of the trade. This is just protection. And I don't want to put it exactly, all right, we're looking good, we're moving down. All right, I've gotten one profit taken out. We're moving nicely here. Let me get my position back on so we could see. All right, so this first take profit was taken. I'm gonna move. Let's look at the measured move. All right, we're looking good. So now we want to see, can we continue to push lower? And right now I have a clear level to risk off of, which is this. I want to see, did we get what's it called? Breaking news, because this looks like a breaking news type of move. Okay, the Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs of the Islamic Republic said, we will continue our resistance with utmost determination, and on this path we fear no threats from any aggressor, blah, 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 blah. All right, so that is the breaking news that got us this move. Our profit got taken, which is great. So yeah, so far trade has been profitable. The short is printing money. Let us keep holding this trade, and let's see how we continue to behave. It's going to be 11 o'clock in about 7 minutes. A lot of people covering their shorts here, so we might get taken out of it, but we're not going to do anything. We just want to see, can we get that extra bonus down there? We got one, the one that was here. I could put up my execution. Yeah, we got it right here. So we got it exactly where we were targeting, right below VWAP. So we want to see, can we get continuation and get the rest of the trade? So far, so good, looking good. We've started well today on this Monday. So let's see what we get. Let us see what we can get. So this is, somewhat negative news. It shows that the negotiations might not be what the U.S. wants them to be. So we'll see. But good for us on our short, and this was a great call this morning. So yeah, I was talking about my stop loss. My stop loss was way up there, but risking those levels. And the stop loss, the protective stop loss, is exactly for moments like this, where you get a wick, you get a move, but it might not necessarily destroy your thesis. So for example, if we had a wick up there on breaking news, but we're still short, I don't want to get stopped out of the trade. So my line in the sand is where I want to risk the maximum. And then um once we kind of get into profit and kind of start taking we start taking contracts off, then I move my stop loss to logical areas. So the first logical area I moved to was right above these highs, and then when we kind of pushed down, and I think I took my first profit around right before here somewhere. I could take the executions. Then the logical area to risk was above this high. Then we move down, we pull back, we kind of evaluated, are we going to get a pullback all the way to here or move lower? Well, we got our pullback and then we're pushing lower. So now our stop loss moves to here. And then we'll see, okay, can we continue to push lower and get a bigger profit, get all the way down there to those lows, which is our next target. So we'll see if we get it. If we don't, we don't. But it is what it is. Christopher saying highly unlikely. I'll extend ceasefire with Iran. 1052. Okay. 1052 was exactly there. So that was after this erratic move. Let me look on my my squawk box here. Yeah. Okay. So I got mine. It says about 37 seconds ago. Oh, no, sorry. 2 minutes ago. President announces Strait of Hormuz will remain closed until a deal is finalized. So yeah, Trump tweeting or whatever you want to call it. Not tweeting, but what's the truth social posting. And that's what we're getting this morning. But well, the tweets are helping our trade this morning. They might not be necessarily helping other things, but so far the trades are looking good. So, like I said, Jan Rhoda, to answer your question, well, there we go. That was the simulated position here. The stop loss was above here, and as we moved lower, the stop loss got moved, down there, and then it got moved to, lower here. So now, whatever happens, we will remain in profit. Now we just want to be patient and do one of the hardest things in trading, but what helps it be less hard is taking profits on the way. One of the hardest things in trading is holding a position as it is in profit. At least for me, that is something that still continues to be hard. It's easier now because I've been able to psychologically brainwash myself into saying, okay, when I enter a trade, I have two things in mind. I want to collect my payroll, and then the rest is the bonus. Why? Because um, there are areas that are easy targets. So getting a 1-to-1 trade or a 1 to 1.2, a 1 to 1.5 is much easier than getting a 2-to-1, 3-to-1, 4-to-1, 10-to-1 trade, right? If you're holding a trade all the way to 10-to-1 and not taking profits along the way, psychologically, it becomes very, very hard to do, right? So what has helped me is when I enter a trade, preferably I enter with multiple contracts, at least two, like you saw today. I think I entered with four contracts today, for micros. What it does is it gives you options on where you can take profits. So I had the first area, which was going to be my payroll. So here I want to be about 1 R or at least half an R in profit, right? Because I know, okay, I got paid for my trade. Once you get that 1 R in profit, or half an R sometimes, or 0.75 R, then you're kind of managing. And what I'm really doing throughout the trade is managing the loss before the profit. So what I really want to do is reduce my loss as much as possible. At least that's how I trade. Because it doesn't matter if I end the trade break even. What is important is, did I manage my loss? Did I make my loss as small as possible? So, for example, the reason I take the payroll is here, it was an area where we could have reversed up. It was an area where longs could have entered. What would have happened? Well, I would have taken a loss because my stop was up there, but I would have taken half an R in loss instead of a full loss, right? So I would have taken a partial loss than my calculated loss. What that does is I have less work to do next time to kind of get my equity curve back up. So psychologically, what I'll do is there are areas where I'm definitely going to take profit because this is my payroll. And then the rest is the bonus. If the trade falls, for example, here this long, if this trade falls to the ground and gets my take profit, great. If it doesn't and completely reverses up, well, guess what? Today I didn't get the bonus, but I got paid and I did what I was supposed to do. And that has helped me hold trades for much longer, hours, days, sometimes, because sometimes a day trade will turn into a swing trade and you can hold a trade for days. So the good thing about framing it like this is, okay, you're getting your payroll, you're getting paid for your time. This is probably usually going to be a smaller amount, right? So, for example, if you have 4 contracts, well, you're getting paid for 1 or 2, and then the distance is smaller, so you're getting maybe a one to one risk to reward, and that's fine. And then the rest is going to be extra. The rest is what's going to make a huge difference in your P&L. So some days you're going to get a huge bonus that's going to transform a 1-to-1 trade into a 4-to-1 or a 5-to-1 or even a 10-to-1. But some days you're not going to get anything. You're just going to get stopped out. And that's totally fine. It just means that, hey, you didn't get it. But what you don't want to do is be erratic and kind of moving things around too much, number one. Number two, you don't want to cut yourself short on a day where you could have gotten way more profit. You don't want to be taking everything off the table. And finally, taking some at the beginning and then letting the rest run has allowed me to really do what is hard to do, is letting your profits run. So right now, whatever happens with the trade, I'm okay with. If the trade goes back and takes me out, I will get taken out, but I will get taken out in profit. If the trade continues and goes and gives me the bonus, then great, I got the bonus. But at the end of the day, I got paid for my work. I got paid for my trade. I'm not going to be thinking about, oh man, I should have taken it right now because it could have worked or whatever. No, I can't. I don't know what the market is going to do. So right now, we're going to let this trade run. And on that note, boys and gals, thank you very much for tuning in today. We will be back tomorrow, same address, same time, to keep trading those markets. So, as usual, take care. I will see you in the markets. And thank you. We have our loyal viewer, Tinana. Thank you very much. I'll see you guys